guys, I'm back with another video today. I'm so glad that you joined me. We are going to be looking at my Christmas list of crafty things. So I included not only my Christmas list, but some things that I feel like have been my favorite this year that if you get the chance to order them, they're a great item for your Christmas list. So I kind of meshed it together, but I make a Christmas list all year long of crafty things that I can hold off on until Stamptember. And Stamptember is the month of September, and it's a thing that is produced by Simon Says Stamp. So that company created this, but a lot of companies have kind of fallen into step to where in September they'll do some extra deals, and they definitely are releasing new products. So Stamptember, each company tends to give a special collaborative thing that's only available during that time. And that really gets me as a shopper because I love to have the new things. I love to demonstrate the new things, but each day is a different item, and usually it sells out by the end of the day. So you're having to pay $7.95, which is their shipping rate, every time you order. So I felt like to get a better use of that money, that going and doing something like creating a list, going on and buying things. A lot of times, I don't know if you do this, but a lot of times I buy things that are on my Christmas list and then just hand them over to my husband. And usually by Christmas, I'm still surprised. So I do a lot of that. I do things like sending my family Christmas list ideas, especially if I see a deal on it that day. So I just thought I would compile it in a video and see what you think. I've split this video up into sections. I will timestamp those sections in case you're looking for something specific, like big items versus embellishments, those kinds of things. So stick with me, and I hope that you will find some new things that you want to get, and I hope that you have a great time just watching all these products. Thanks. I hope you'll stick with me, and we will go through lots and lots of fun crafty items. So here we go. Okay guys, let's start with big items. So I'm gonna try to pop the pictures of these items, but I limited my big items to 3 things this time. First one is something that I just think everybody needs. I love it, I have it in my craft room, and I feel like you all need it. So I'm gonna try to pop up a picture of the Gemini Jr. So the Gemini Jr is a die cutting machine that is electronic. So it pulls the plates through there for you. You don't have to do any rotating of the handle. As I get older, I feel like that really is hard on me to do, especially when I'm doing a ton of die cutting, is to rotate the thing. And that Gemini Jr gets more use than anything else in my craft room. So if you're a big die cutter, I really suggest considering the Gemini Jr. Now for things that I'm hoping to get, I really want to try the Brother Scan and Cut. So we'll pop that up, show you what it looks like. This is an expensive device, and I've been going back and forth on it for a long time. But when I do the math, there are 2 versions. There's one that's $2.99 and there's one that's $3.99. So I'm gonna shoot for going for the $2.99 one. And the reason that I'm gonna do that is what it seems to me is that the difference in the 2 prices is that the one that's more expensive has a touch screen. It also comes with a lot of pre-loaded designs. But the reason that I want to scan and cut is because I want to stop buying as many dies with my sets, especially things like Lawn Fawn, where I've got tons of images that I'm cutting out. That's very time consuming. And the Brother Scan and Cut, you can put a whole page through and it should cut those images for you. I've been hesitant and I've been watching to see if this really works the way it's supposed to. And it seems to me like it does. I feel like people are really using it. And when I do the math, usually a die set from Lawn Fawn, from Altenew, whoever you're getting it from, is anywhere from $15 to $20. So say it's 20 bucks. Well, $300 divided by 20 bucks is like 15. So if I can save buying 15 different die sets, which let's just go ahead and be honest, I could probably do that in a few months. So especially with Stamptember coming up. So I feel like it's worth trying it and seeing what happens. And if it doesn't work well for me, then I'm gonna sell it. But that's the big item that's on my list this year, and I just thought I would talk to you about it. I don't feel like there's a lot of information out there. I'm definitely gonna do a video and compare its cutting versus the dies and just see if there's any difference at all that would make somebody not want to use that. So I'm gonna look for that in my Christmas. We'll see. It's a pricey item, but I'm hoping that'll be one thing that I can use. The last item on my large list or big ticket items is the Spellbinder's Glimmer machine. That is a foil machine. I have tried a lot of foil machines. I own a mink machine. I own a hot foil one by Gemini, and they work, but I am impressed so much by the Glimmer machine. And the reason I didn't buy it first is because I didn't have a Spellbinder's Glimmer or a Spellbinder's platform yet. And so I got a Spellbinder's platform this year, and I realized that especially with hot foil, I like being able to see what I'm cutting and what I'm pressing on. So with the Spellbinder's machine, you can watch your item go through it. And that really helps when you're doing something very precise. And I feel like foil is very precise. Whereas with the Gemini, you send it through and you hope everything stays where it's supposed to. And there are ways to make that better. But I just feel like the Glimmer machine also has a lot of foils that I'm having trouble getting them to work on my Gemini. They work if you really, really heat it up, but they don't work as well as I want them to. And I feel like they have the prettiest and the largest selection of foils. So I'm hoping I will get to try that. That's definitely down on the list of big items and other things because I do already have foiling machines. But if I get one of those for Christmas, I will make sure and let y'all know what I think, and I'll compare it to those other versions and just see what the differences are so that you might be able to find something that fits your needs. Let's talk about coloring tools. And I put it as coloring tools because I wanted to put in here other things that I use when I'm coloring or inking, that kind of thing. So some of these things, like in the last one, will have things that I already have versus things that I'm wanting to get. So I'm trying to keep it to just about 4 or 5 things max for each section. So for this section, we are going to start with blending brushes, especially since we've been talking about Stamptember and Simon Says Stamp. They have some new brushes, and I don't know if you can see these here. They're all different colors. I like that they have a different variety of colors than some other ones that I've gotten, so it gives you some options. But these brushes for all of these are about $50, I believe. So I think that makes them about $5 a brush. They come in a pack like this so that you can get all the colors, and they also come in a much smaller brush, which on my Christmas list will be the smaller brushes. But I do think some type of brush like this, I feel like these and the Tailored Expressions brushes that are similar are pretty comparable in price, but I feel like it's a lot harder to find the Tailored Expression ones. So it's nice that we've got an option that's available and that is a good price. So if you do not have something like this, these are the softest bristles, and they just do such a great job at ink blending. So I use these with Distress Oxides, with Distress Inks. Just got these because they just came out. So I have not gotten to use each of these yet. I've tried one to make sure it works well, and it's great. So I would highly suggest something like this. My next color item is going to be these small blending brushes from iCrafter. So they come like this as a pack. They stack on top of each other, so very easy to store, doesn't fall off if you turn it this way, so it can go in like a pencil pouch or something like that. But these brushes, what I think is different about these is how tightly the bristles are right here, how tight they are together. I've had some other small ones and they're really loose, so they don't lay down as much color, and I love color, so I want to lay down as, you know, a decent amount and not have to be blending that forever. So these really do lay down some color. You can do it lighter if you tap it off on something else, but I just think these are great. And I would say their price point, I believe, is about $50. But I've had these for a year and have not messed any of them up. So I think they're a good purchase, especially if you love ink blending. My next thing that I already have, but that I would highly suggest for any type of coloring, is to have a white highlighting pen. So this is a jelly roll pen. They've got packs of these at Simon Says Stamp and many of the other companies, scrapbook.com, that come in different sizes. So what I use, I do a lot of lawn fawn coloring, flower coloring, things like that, where I'm highlighting with the white. I use either the 08 or the 10 size. The 10 size is probably my most used one, but they come in packs of 3 where you can get a fine, a medium, and a bold, and that's a really nice deal. They last a long time. I barely used any ink out of this thing, and I feel like I use it all the time. So good pen, just if you're throwing in something else that you've been meaning to pick up, this is a great thing to add on. The next thing that I don't have, but I have something similar, is these coloring pencils. So I have some Prismacolor, which I like, but I really like these Polychromos, hopefully that's how you say it, by Faber-Castell. These are very good color. I feel like they blend well, and I have a few of them, but I really need a white. So that's another thing that I don't always think about, just going and purchasing one pencil when I'm buying something online, but it's a nice add-on that is a really good use of your cash, I believe. So this white pencil, I actually have used some white highlighting on Copic coloring, on distress ink blending. You can see some of my other videos to check that out. But this is not very expensive, and it's a nice, quick, easy add-on, and there's no way you'd want to pay the shipping on just this pencil. So good thing to add on. Okay, so one of the other things that I really want to do is add to my Copic collection. So Copics are about $8 each, and they have refills to them, so they last a long time. And I slowly build up my colors. I do have a decent amount, but I watch a lot of coloring videos, and I know that my favorite colors, I'm gonna list up here. I really like the E's, which are like the earth colors, they're browns. Those are great for skin tones, they're great for little characters. I use them more than any other color. And I really like the ones that are very light reds. So like R20 is great for cheek colors. I'm really wanting to get RV11. It's another great but lighter cheek color. So some things like that. You can always pick up a couple of markers. Like I said, that's another item that you're not gonna want to just order on its own and have to pay the shipping. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's a great thing to add on to these Stamptember orders. And last in this category, I know I made this category a little bit long, but I love to color. So the last part of this category, I would say, are the Zig Clean Color brushes. So these, I do not have them. I would love to try them. I feel like people get great looks with these. I'm sure you can do similar things with Copics, but I really would love to try those colors out. And so I'm hoping to get a pack of those for Christmas also. All right, let's move into our next category. Okay, let's talk favorite ink pad ever. That would be Distress Oxides. So Distress Oxides are really great at ink blending. You can stamp images in them. They're not as crisp when you're doing that, but they're really cool to stamp the image and then use that ink as watercolor. So they really react with water and make a very cool effect. They are opaque in their coverage versus the other version, which is the Distress Ink. So Distress Ink versus Distress Oxide, the inks are a little more transparent. So on my Christmas list this year, I want the Distress Inks because I don't have them. So I have all Distress Oxides and I love them, and I have a feeling that I would love the inks just as much. So I'm hoping to get some of those and add them to my collection. These are my favorite colors. I will pop this stuff up on the screen kind of above me and through here so that you can see the colors, but I felt like if you're gonna get just a few colors, get yourself something that can do a rainbow. And also the number one that I feel like is the best color and used the most is tumbled glass. It's this light blue color right here. That color you can use for skies. I just use it all the time. Maybe it's because I'm doing a lot of cloudy skies, but I love that color. And so if you're picking up one just to try, that's a great color to try. But they've got a full assortment. I don't know how many they have now, but there's a ton. So these are great to use, and I think that they should be in my highly recommended category. The next thing that I'm going to show you are the black inks. So I have two favorite black inks, and I use these. I Copic color with them. I just use them to stamp images. But the one that I use the most for just sentiments and making something very, very dark black without having to restamp is this VersaFine Clair Nocturne. This is the blackest ink pad that I have, and it does such a great job at filling in words and larger areas. So I use it sometimes even for Copic coloring. I'm not sure that it's made to do that, but if you let it dry, it does fine. So I use that one all the time, probably a $6 ink pad, and it is worth it, especially if you're stamping dark black on, like, I love it on colored cardstock. So like I used it to put on the back of my envelopes for Christmas, put Merry Christmas and stamped it with that. I only had to stamp it once and it shows up great, even on a red envelope. So that's a very good stamp pad. The other one is the Lawn Fawn Jet Black. I use this a lot with Copic coloring. It's made for that. I do usually stamp it a couple of times because I'm used to that super dark black. And I like my lines to be very, very black. So this is a great ink pad. I know that Simon Says Stamp has a great black. I have not gotten to use it, but I hear rave reviews about it, and I'm really hoping that I will get to try it out soon. So that may be one thing I'll throw in my cart too. Next, I want to show you a couple of specialty ink pads that I have used. I really like using this Altenew Metallic Gold. It is not something that I necessarily stamp an image in, but I use it a lot of times to rub the gold on top of like an embossing folder, and it looks really good like that. It's got a good pigment to it, and it's just a great kind of addition to my stamps, is to add that to it, or even just to texture paper and add a little gold sheen to it. You can add that, very nice. Versamark is my go-to ink pad for embossing. Granted, I haven't tried many other embossing pads because I just love this one so much, and it just works. You know, I've had it forever. So I'm sure there are others that are great, but I love Versamark, and it's really held up. I think I've had this stamp pad for like 8 years, and it's still working. I do add some refill to it at times, but it's still really great ink pad. Lastly, let's talk about layered stamps and their ink. So when you're layering stamps, it's really nice to have the ink already set up for you in a light, you know, a medium, a little bit darker, and super dark shade. The people that I feel like do this the best are Altenew. So Altenew has these stacks, and you can see it goes from light pink all the way to dark pink. That looks so good when you're stamping a layered stamp. These pads, they come in smaller ones too, and like the little minis, but I really loved their color combos, and I really feel like that just helps you with one less decision. You don't have to figure out what colors go together. They've got it all there for you. So I definitely say Altenew for those kinds of things, and maybe just get a couple of colors. If you've got some stamps like that, get a green set and a pink set, or a green set and a purple set, something you can do some flowers with, whatever you prefer. And I think you'll be really happy with these inks. Hey guys, so this video is longer than I expected it to be, so I'm going to make it in different sections. So these 3 sections will be the end of this video, and then the next video that I do, I'm going to do it on stamps and dies, stencils, and mixed media items that I'm hoping for, or that I already have and think are amazing. So I hope that you enjoyed this video as much as I had fun making it, and I can't wait to see you back next time. If you're going shopping, make sure you use those links in the description, and make sure to hit the notification bell so that you'll know when the next video comes out. Thanks so much for sticking with me. Have a great day. Bye.